Hello, today we are talking about the difference between MLA and APA format, and I'm helping you set up your paper for Major Paper 2. So, first thing that I want you to do is I want you to go onto Google and Drive and open up a Google Doc, and I want you to save it as Major Paper 2 dash your last name. Don't save it as sample Major Paper 2, just Major Paper 2 dash your name. Mine is sample because it's not a real major paper, it's a sample one. All right. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. APA stands for the American Psychiatric Association. MLA is used for studying, like writing papers in the different areas that study languages and humanities, like Spanish, French, English, literature, anything that has to do with language. Modern Language Association is usually the format that you use to write those papers. The American Psychological Association came up with their own format because they wanted to highlight the use of papers to study scientific research and experiments that they'd set up. So they wanted a way where they could highlight that research and they could divide it into easily searchable areas. So an APA formatted paper typically occurs in different parts. Usually there is an overall review of what testing has been done before. Let's say I wanted to run an experiment that shows that American citizens generally believe that men are stronger leaders than women. And I wanted to do a series of experiments that proved that. So at first I would do background research into what studies have been done before to show this. And that would be a review of the literature. Then usually I'd have a section of my paper that would talk about the experiment that I'd set up. So I'd write about what I did in my experiment, what I was trying to find, and then how I conducted the experiment with what kind of control groups. And then I'd have a third section of my paper that talked about the results of my experiment. And then finally, I'd get to a section where I write about the conclusions drawn from the results of the experiment. So they needed a format that divided the paper into sections. So they created their own format, APA format, to do that. So the first thing that you're going to notice that's different about APA versus MLA format is how the page numbers are done. So you'll see right here at the top of the page that instead of having your last name here, followed by the page number, APA format includes the title, the first line title of the paper. It allows the paper to be easily searched in databases for a topic that you're looking for. And that's why they use that for the page number, because the topic is more important than you, the researcher. What you're researching is more important than what you believe. Okay, so to insert our page number, in the top of your blank document, choose Insert, Header and Page Number. You're going to choose Page Number, and you're going to choose the first option. When you do that, the number 1 is just going to pop up there in the corner, and your cursor is going to be popping behind it like that. Move your cursor to the left side of that page number. Don't erase the page number. And then you're going to type in the general topic title of your paper, followed by 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. My general topic title of my paper is The Rhetoric of Politics. It could be yours too, because your paper is also going to be about the rhetoric of politics, but you could choose something a little bit more creative, more unique to you if you'd like to, as long as it's a general topic and gives you the idea of what the paper is. The other thing that you need to do, you'll see that your page number is probably way up here. You want to move your cursor to the beginning of your title there, and you want to enter a couple times so that your page numbering doesn't get cut off by the printer when you print it. And then you want to highlight the whole thing, and you are probably right now in Arial, probably size 11 is your heading. You want to change that to size 12 Times New Roman. One of the differences between APA and MLA papers is that APA papers require a font that is called a serif style font. A serif style font, unlike Arial font, which is what this is written in right now, is something that has what I refer to as feet, but they're called serifs at the bottom of the page. So let's take a look at that a little bit closer. Maybe not that close. All right, so if you look at the T here in the, you'll notice that the T in the with Times New Roman, and you put it next to a T that's in Arial, you'll notice that the Arial doesn't have these little like feet and lines there at the bottom. Those are called serifs. APA believes, whether it's true or not, that serifs are easier to read. And since when you are reading a lot of papers, like you're studying something in a class or whatever, you want to look at different studies, you're going to be reading a lot, so they want you to have a serif font. So I always say use Times New Roman no matter whatever you're writing, because it works for all the different formats, and there's like 8 or 9 different research formats, not just APA and MLA, but those are the big two. All right, so now the other thing that's different is that APA format requires a cover page or a title page. I'm zooming out here so that you can see what the title page looks like and the format that is. This is one of the formats for title page. There's a couple of different ones. I like this one because I think it's a little more visually appealing. The idea behind this title page is that the space that you have at the top of the page should equal this space here at the bottom of the page. And the space between the title and your name as writer should be equal to the space between your writer's name and your professor's name. Okay? So what you do is you want to make sure that everything is double spaced. So the first thing we're going to do is go up here once we have our heading on there, and we're going to double space everything. Choose double space. APA paper is double spaced throughout. So you're going to enter a couple times at the top of your paper, maybe about a quarter of the way down the paper, and you're going to write a general topic title for your paper, followed by a colon. On the next line, this title is where you get either more specific or more creative, or both, with your title, so that people know, what about the rhetoric of politics are you studying? I'm going to be writing a paper on military service and how different people use military service or military records to attack or to convince people to vote for them. All right, then you're going to enter, so you're about halfway down the page, and you're going to put your name as the author. You want to put it in the most professional way that you want to. My professional name, I always like to use my middle initials. You don't have to. That's just what I do. Then you're going to enter again about the same number of spaces that you entered from there to there. You're going to enter from there to here. And you're going to write the name of your professor. Make sure you have the honorific correct. So if your professor is a doctor, then you have DR. If your professor is a woman who is not a doctor, and you don't know whether they're married or not, or you just want to be politically correct, MS. All right, underneath that, you put the title of your class, and I want you guys to put your class period after it, just to help me sort through when the papers come in. And then under that, this is the due date of the draft of your paper, which means you're going to update for each draft. So draft 1 is due on Halloween, October 31st, so 31 October 2018. Once you're done with that date, go ahead and move your cursor underneath it, and you are going to insert a page break. So insert page break right there, and that'll take you to a brand new page. Now you should see you have page number 2. There's your header again, and your cursor should be right here. I'm going to have you bold your titles right now, although for draft 3 I'm going to have you eliminate it. When we bold them, it's just going to help stand out like the different parts of your paper so that you can refer to them. So here on this page you're going to write abstract, and behind it put draft 3 to remind yourself that it's not due until draft 3. I will walk you through the abstract. It's very formulaic writing. It's basically a summary of what your paper is about. They're put at the beginning of APA papers so that someone doesn't have to read the whole paper and can decide whether or not they want to use it in their research or not. When you're done putting this title, enter and change your justification from center to left, and then write the words key terms and a colon. These are basically search terms. APA abstracts have them so that databases can include search terms. So if you're looking for a particular study in something, then you can have like the main topic or the ideas behind the paper. So there we go. I've got these listed already. Please start those while you're working on draft 1. And when you're done with those, you don't have to write anything else with the abstract. We'll do it for draft 3 later. But key terms are a good way to start. When you're done writing your key terms, I want you to, again, insert